Over the last few videos, I've tried to explain to you what is happening in the global financial markets. Now, you know I spent a lot of time on China because that, I think, is as clear as day for anyone who bothers to think. Those who read what they read in the newspaper, sorry, you're just not going to know until it's happened. Okay, but those who think will see from all the information, all the data, all the facts I've given you on the Chinese economy and what's happening politically within the CCP, tell you that China is on a one-way path to a complete economic implosion. I hope you've got that. Let's think about America now. Let's think about your pension funds, because this is so important. I spent a lot of the early videos talking to you about illiquidity, how illiquidity had now swamped we can go back to commercial real estate and say that that started to go illiquid maybe 3 or 4 years ago. But gradually, of course, it becomes more and more evident, and more properties can't sell for 20% of their purchase price. Distress sales in a 5 trillion market. It's a big market. Commercial real estate. It's a big market. Okay, yes, COVID affected it. Yes, lockdowns affected it. Yes, working from home affected it. But it's not what affects it, it's what is the outcome. That's what we need to know to plan, to prepare. We need to know the outcome. So what is the outcome on commercial real estate? Well, it's illiquid and you can't sell it. And really, you can't put a realistic value on it. Now, I told you a few days ago that we're seeing the same in private credit and also private equity. Two huge relative markets now to where they were, say, 15, 20 years ago, when really we didn't have a large exposure to those markets. Now we've got a very significant exposure to private equity and private credit. Okay, and I've told you they've both gone illiquid. There was one particular person in the private equity market who said if he wanted to sell his holdings now, he would be happy to get 50%. Now he can see it out, he can play it out because he doesn't have to panic. He's not leveraged to the hilt. He can ride out the wave if we get to a normal market again. As you know from all the things I've told you, we're not going to a normal market. We're going to a completely new financial system because we've reached the end of the road in the old one. China is easy to see. It's reached the end of its road. It has no economy left, no property construction development, 30%. Consumption is falling, 38%. And exports are under massive pressure now from every other country who have eventually, at last, seen the light. China has been abusing its export markets for years. What makes people see the light? Normally, it's extreme pressure. When there's extreme pressure on people, they can look through the daily noise, the distraction, the obfuscation, the misinformation. They are forced to see the blunt truth. And most economies now are seeing the blunt truth on China's exports, how they're sponsored, supported, state support, whatever. They are supported in contravention to the WTO and also in contravention to any of their trading partners' fair two-way practices. They're not happening. It's a one-way street. Okay. So we come to this conclusion that there are credit events now taking place in the US and China. And in the US, it's under the surface. It's not so much in your face. Okay. What is BlackRock saying? We now want to, and I'll try and find the article for you and read something out of the article because it's absolutely stunning. What are BlackRock saying? Or what are they doing? Let's start with what they're doing. They've got a heap of investments in private equity and private credit. In whose name? In their name. They have made all the profits. They have taken all the profits. And they'll say, we took all the risks. Fine. Okay. But what are they doing now? on this article on the 26th of June. Let me find it for you. 26th of June. Bloomberg reported it, not BlackRock. Bloomberg reported that BlackRock are now passing private equity and private credit investments into a fund for pension assets. Yes, your pension, your future. A dumping ground for BlackRock. It's taken all the profit. It's extracted all the hype. It's exaggerated the narrative. And now it's going to pass those assets into your pension fund. And let me tell you what their director said. Blending public and private market exposures requires a thoughtful approach to asset allocation and the ability to actively manage risk, the global head of retirement solutions said. No. He's dumping. Okay, BlackRock have taken all the profit. They've taken all the hype. They've made the hype. They've taken the profit. And now they need somewhere to dump that private equity and private credit, which is now illiquid in the general market. So they can't sell it in the market. So how do they get the value out of it? They pass it to you. You're going to get it. You're going to be dumped with it. And this also happens with equity markets when we come to a credit-driven crash event. Remember, the credit market is massively larger than the equity market, but you only see the equity market. So the equity market is the froth on the top, okay? And they are going to froth that up now. They're going to whip it up so that you and all these people who are holding $7 trillion in money market funds will be tempted to jump into the equity market just as it goes for a major boom. Boom being the operative word because it's a bomb about to explode. Okay, it's a bomb about to explode. So you are now going to get news and narrative, misinformation, disinformation. You're going to get everything telling you to invest in the equity market because they need to get out. The BlackRocks, the Vanguards, the people who control the equity market now need some willing victims. So be very, very careful. Thank you.